The secret visit to media mogul Rupert Murdoch's ranch from J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance visits Rupert Murdoch's ranch. No press, no notes, all conspiracy to set up the next act. We'll see. Apparently, this happened, and it was not, while the news broke this weekend, it happened, the actual meeting, about a month ago. Isn't that right, Kim?
Yeah, June 11th, Air Force Two lands in Butte, Montana at about 2:30 p.m. June 11th and doesn't leave until after nightfall. And according to the Associated Press, J.D. Vance went to Rupert Murdoch's giant Montana ranch a little more than an hour away from the airport and had a meeting with Rupert Murdoch, his son Lachlan, and several other executives of Fox News. We don't know what they talked about. And then after the meeting, Mr. Vance and his wife went on a little hike and then left.
Well, it's a beautiful place the Murdochs have up there. Just a little something they picked up, I think, on a weekend rolling through that beautiful country. It's a $280 million estate. And there's a lot to be said about the relationship between Murdoch and the Republican Party. Traditionally, Murdoch has animated the Republican Party agenda. He's done it through the Wall Street Journal. He's done it through Fox News Channel. He's done it through all his Fox stations. Now, of course, Rupert Murdoch embattled, right? Wall Street Journal went forward with a Jeffrey Epstein piece, the piece that demonstrated on multiple bits of reporting something which we on one level knew, which is the relationship between Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein and the close relationship. Also that it was informed by a skeezy, sort of sleazy obsession with girls, I'm going to say. I mean, they were sub 18. And even their beauty pageants that they put together, they did these sort of modeling agency related, are you good enough with your look to make it into modeling? They did these kinds of mini pageants and castings, and that we know about. But the Wall Street Journal piece, it showcased a birthday card that had this weird exchange. We touched on it last week. Donald Trump's signature on this graffitiized thing. But the answer is, on all of this stuff, it may or may not move the meter, but it moved Trump's meter. That is to say, politically, it may or may not be significant. I'd suggest the drip, drip, drip of this is significant, but it moved Trump's meter significantly enough, this one drop from the Wall Street Journal, it was Thursday, to sue them. So now he's suing them for an absurd, he always picks up
$10 billion. $10 billion. Yeah.
It's like, Dr. Evil, I'm going to sue you for it. So in this case, it's billions of dollars. You have to show damages in a defamation suit, as you're aware. Trump doesn't want a lawsuit with the Wall Street. In other words, he doesn't want it actually adjudicated. This is a way to flex and to push back. I mean, obviously, if there was actually an adjudication of this, there'd be depositions prior to any trial. Depositions could include Trump being deposed, and he'd have to be deposed. There'd be no, well, I'm president, you can't, I'll talk to you after the presidency's over. No. Bill Clinton was deposed. He was president, and that whole thing, and that was also, sex-related. And likewise, Trump would be deposed. This isn't going to happen, but I'm just saying these are the things that would happen if Trump really presses this case. And then you'd have, under discovery, you'd have all of these revelations and all of these details about Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump and all the places in which Donald Trump's name shows up alongside Jeffrey Epstein. You'd have all of the travel manifests. All of these things would have to be admissible. Otherwise, you can't prosecute this case, adjudicate this case, run this case out in any kind of responsible way. This is the way the law works. Regardless of how you think you're going to game it out, Mr. President, you will have to be exposed in all these ways that you don't want to be exposed. You don't want to sit there for a deposition, and you certainly don't want all of this information being revealed. The overall weight of this Epstein thing, I think it's only significant because of its political relevance, because of the weight that it is producing on Trump's presidency. And of course, the real cost, I mean, the very real cost of the Epstein victims. I mean, there were north of 1,000 boys and girls. It was a true human trafficking operation. And it's so grotesque that the idea that you could be alongside someone like that for so long and be cool with it. I mean, there's sort of an implied consent that's pretty brutal. But back to J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance, Murdoch, that relationship is important, and it becomes even more important now because of the embattled nature of the Trump-Murdoch back and forth.
Can I just tell you that the only thing on the president's schedule today, when I looked at what the president is doing today, lunch with J.D. Vance.
So
that'll be an interesting meeting.
Yeah. Read about your meeting with the Murdochs last month. The question becomes, could there be an act two that the GOP, sick of Trump, okay, here's how the conspiracy works. Sick of Trump, he's become so radioactive with his posts, with his reckless policy, and I think that, by the way, the latter, the reckless policy, particularly economically, is what concerns the GOP. How they're torching their own districts while they fall in line on his parade when it comes to economic policy. They passed his bill, now the clawback. These things, I mean, again, this is how the conspiracy works. At some point, they begin to wreak havoc. The American economy begins to suffer. Those GOP districts begin to really be threatened to the point that maybe the Democrats win big. And so Trump loses power. Now, this is the part of the conspiracy I don't quite get. Like, I don't understand. Are you talking about removing Trump? How would you remove him? I don't quite understand how that would happen. Would you release the Epstein? Would the Epstein files be released to the point that those details, so salacious, would somehow affect him? I don't think they would. I don't think there is any detail in the Epstein file necessarily that would affect Trump. Now, obviously, Trump disagrees with me. He doesn't want anything out there. But I'm just saying that would end his presidency? No. But on some level, you can't tell me that Murdoch and those people on the far right haven't gotten what they need out of Trump already, and perhaps are sitting down over coffee with J.D. Vance and looking at Act Two. That's the way the conspiracy goes, and it's a fact that Vance was there meeting with Murdoch. So in the shadow of this lawsuit, one wonders. Over the weekend, and I guess when did this drop? The video of Obama being arrested?
Sometime overnight, I think, but it was posted sometime over the weekend by Trump on Truth Social.
So Trump on his social network, posted this video of Obama being thrown to the after this long. I mean, it is way long. This video needs an editor desperately. One Democrat after another saying no one's above the law, no one's above the law, no one's above the law. And the 86-second clip begins with all of that footage, and then it goes into this AI footage of Trump and Obama sitting in the Oval Office, and then Obama is detained by FBI agents and then dressed in a jumpsuit. We're showing it to you now.
Obviously, all AI,
Yeah. And then Trump smirks as his predecessor is taken away, is what is noted. So I have two thoughts on this. And there's a shot of Obama in the jail cell. First of all, AI is scary good, what they can do, although that was a hack job because, as Tony said, that probably took them like 90 seconds to do that. It was so not reflective of anything well done, too long, clunky. But once you get past that part, it's just astounding to me that something as juvenile as that is posted by the President of the United States. It's just amazing. I mean, how far we've fallen is an astounding fact that trolling a past president or other political figures is something that the President of the United States does. He doesn't do it once in a while. He aggressively does it. This president is all performative. Donald Trump has policies, heinous, awful, aggressive, gruesome, grotesque policies when it comes to immigration, when it comes to the economy, the ham-fisted way that he is doing all these things. So at least that's really presidenting. These policies are awful, but it coexists with this adolescent flex he has, which is stuff like that, which is reposting some AI of Obama being thrown to the ground. And of course, he's got a thing for Obama because of that speech that Obama made when he was doing the correspondence dinner, and he nailed Trump repeatedly, right? And he was after Obama prior to that, you know, the birther thing, all of that.
It smacks of some type of racism. And when I saw that, like, oh, let's arrest the black president and throw him to the ground, all that, and treat him like a criminal, it did smack of racism. But you know what? I think really it's Trump who should be embarrassed by that. It's Trump who should be embarrassed by posting that. And I think everyone knows that. That's just silly.
Trump is the messiah of the adolescent bully, says John Watson. I think that's a decent take. It just really does feel adolescent bullying. That's a really great take on it. So,
and we're reminded the person who's actually really been arrested and booked with a mugshot is Trump.
Yeah. Arrested for what? Posted by the convicted felon. Yeah, says Copper. I will say this, that Tulsi Gabbard has come out with this intelligence, I'll put it in quotes a little bit. I mean, she is DNI, Director of National Intelligence, and she is saying that Obama and others are guilty of treasonous conspiracy because they amplified the amount of Russian interference in the election that Trump won against Hillary Clinton. Okay, so we're still doing that dance. So she's saying that Obama and senior officials in the Obama administration had, quote, laid the groundwork for a years-long coup and laid that groundwork against Trump after his victory over Hillary Clinton by, quote, manufacturing intelligence to suggest that Russia had tried to influence the election. That included using a dossier prepared by British intelligence agent Christopher Steele that they knew to be unreliable, Gabbard claims. So she is on Team Trump, and she is now, again, concocting her own dossier of materials to support how lawless the Democrats under Obama were. Their goal was to subvert the will of the American people and enact what essentially was a years-long coup with the objective of trying to usurp the president from fulfilling the mandate bestowed upon him by the American people. She goes on, no matter how powerful, every person involved in this conspiracy must be investigated and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law to ensure nothing like this ever happens again. So she, you know, it's weird. Tulsi Gabbard is a wild story, and I won't get into it heavily here, but she was a Democratic member of Congress, and she flipped and has become a true believer, it would seem, in a lot of the things that animate MAGA world. And she has certainly fallen in line and embraced her power as she supports this president. I mean, let's just look at what she said about Iran. Iran's not close to a nuclear weapon, is what she said originally. Our intelligence reflects that. But then she got the memo from the White House saying, we're going to get involved in this. And all of a sudden, oh my God, I'm sorry, I didn't read the last page. Apparently, earlier, Iran wasn't close to a nuclear weapon. But I'm just seeing that Iran could be hours away from getting a nuclear weapon. Better bomb them. That was Tulsi's reversal. Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.